Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. This is going to be a very short presentation, a brief overview and comparison of my model for East Africa and the smallholder, small-scale irrigation technology project that is currently under consideration in Rwanda. This is a short addendum, I would say, to my already developed East Africa smallholder agricultural program, where we believe that we can transform the average smallholder grower from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. So right now, the current gaps for Kenya and Rwanda are quite serious. What we've done here is we've picked out the top 15 crops and we've looked at the world averages, which you see on the column on the left, today's average in Kenya, and we don't have data right now on all the same crops, but you can see the Rwanda average. And you can see that the percentage columns, the two columns on the right, indicate how close we are to the world average. So we are behind 50, 60%, sometimes a little less on all these crops. The takeaway here is that on average, we need to increase yield production by 3 times. The assumptions of the small-scale irrigation technology project are essentially 4. First, to be cognizant of climate change, to increase land in order to increase production. We call this extensive agriculture. The assumption is that irrigation systems of high quality cost between $4,000 and $5,000 per hectare, and new water needs to be found. A new irrigation scheme needs to be implemented so irrigation water can be made more accessible and available to smallholder growers. In response to that program, my assumptions, the climate smart irrigation assumptions, are that we not only need to be cognizant of climate change, but there are 9 threats to planetary sustainability, which I've indicated in my previous presentations. I believe there is no need to add any land to triple current yields. We can triple production on current land. One element that is not included in the SSIT is post-harvest loss, which in Rwanda today is 32%. We can cut that to 5%. And we remove finance. The cost per hectare in my project, in my program, for the highest quality system is between $400 and $600 per hectare, about 10% of the assumed costs. We always look to increasing water demand management in order to know that we have enough water to grow these crops. But if we're short of water, rather than developing a new irrigation scheme, our preference is decentralized wastewater treatment, which serves a variety of benefits. The goals and objectives of the CSI, or East Africa Smallholder Agricultural Program, are all-encompassing. We also want to increase food security and grower profitability. We also are looking at horticultural crops, increasing nutritional value, improving water and nutrient use efficiency, integrated pest management so we can reduce the reliance on pesticides. We reduce the reliance on finance, increase the knowledge base and access to reliable information, increase opportunity costs for labor, reduce post-harvest loss, ensure sustainable soil health, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and improve carbon and nitrogen sourcing. So we can get to these kinds of results. Our projected improvements are based on experience. These are photos from before and after in projects that we've run in Kenya, where we've instituted these changes, again, on a case-by-case basis. Our goal here is to bring it to the public policy level and have this adopted at the national and continental level. That's really our goal. The first critical step is to bring professionalism into selecting the proper irrigation regimes for every crop, for every geography, for every budget, for every climatic condition. One size does not fit all. Here are the other critical steps. After we've selected the right irrigation system, we have to include drainage. Much of the land in Rwanda of cooperatives is marginal land. To reduce their tax exposure and to reduce the problem of land tenure, a lot of these farms, a lot of these cooperatives are in ravines or wadis. It's great soil, but the amount of rainfall can wipe out a farm in no time. So what growers have done is they've built huge drainage ditches around their properties, around each field, because you have to get the water off the field. The total sum of the drainage ditches that they have built represents between 30 and 40% of the land that they farm. So we have to institute what we call high-tech, but is very low-cost drainage systems. That's what you see up here. So we will put subsurface pipes. These are used PVC pipes, and we end up draining the excess water while maintaining 100% of the land available for production. We irrigate, we drain, and then we add liquid fertilizers. This is a system that is easy, inexpensive to put in, and is included in the $400 to $600 per hectare range. And then we schedule irrigation. There are many ways to schedule irrigation, but irrigation must be scheduled correctly. We have to teach growers when to water, how long to water, when to fertilize, how long to fertilize. And we stipulate proper seed selection. It's very important. The cost of hybrid seeds has come down precipitously, and we have to take advantage of that. There are no shortcuts. This program calls for intense training using a well-developed curriculum that we've put in place all over the global south. We train on soil sampling and preparation, cultivation, seed selection, irrigation, fertigation, weed control, integrated pest management, post-loss, reducing post-harvest losses, packing, marketing and contracts, finance and bookkeeping. We will triple the yields, increase incomes by 1,200%, return the investments in year one, and create jobs, improve soil health, and reduce the need for pesticides. This is a no shortcuts approach, and we will again be able to accomplish all this at 10% of the cost of the assumed costs that other programs have assumed that we need in order to accomplish these outcomes. So we can accomplish greater outcomes and do 10 times the amount of production, 10 times the amount of yield at the same cost.